If you ever feel out of control around food, you're not alone, and you're in the right place to learn practical, no-nonsense information about why you binge and how to stop. Binge eating does not mean that something is wrong with you. It's a natural but primitive brain response that you can correct. If you're ready for change, sign up for the Brain Over Binge self-paced online course for less than $20 per month. And if you feel you need personalized support, we also offer one-on-one coaching and group coaching. To learn more, go to brainoverbinge.com/subscribe. And I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to the Brain Over Binge podcast, where you learn a simple, brain-based approach to ending binge eating. I'm Katherine Hansen, your host. I'm the author of Brain Over Binge and the Brain Over Binge Recovery Guide, and I'm so glad you're here. My goal is to bring you information and insights to help you stop binge eating for good and learn to eat in a way that works for you. I love having guests on the show to help me toward this goal and to share their own knowledge and experience in developing a healthy relationship with food. I was absolutely honored to have a conversation with today's guest, My Nguyen, who is the creator of My Healthy Dish. In this episode, you'll learn about her journey through challenges with food restriction and body image issues to really figuring out her own way of cooking and healthy eating that nourishes her and allows her to honor her body, which through My Healthy Dish, she shares with the world and inspires millions of people to do the same. Mai was one of the original trailblazing internet food influencers, and she remains a leader in that space. She has a highly anticipated new cookbook, which you'll hear about in this episode as well. That's all about creating enjoyable and exciting dishes that are aimed at helping you feel great and have energy for living, and not about being restrictive with food. I know you're going to find so much value in listening to this conversation. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We're going to be talking about learning to nourish yourself well, learning to enjoy food, learning to love cooking, and Maya is just a great guest to talk about this topic with me. So maybe just start by telling the audience a little more about yourself and what you do and how you got into this work.
I am a first-generation immigrant from Vietnam. I'm actually a refugee, and I literally just grew up eating all my meals at home. Right. So I was like, I grew up because just accessibility and we couldn't afford eating out because we were dirt poor. But we ate a lot of our meals at home, and dining out was definitely, I would say, a treat. Growing up in that mentality where everything was made home cooked meals and then going off to college and then like being able to eat whatever I want. It was like 1:00 Jack in the Box run after a party, and like adding alcohol to it, and it was just a complete 180 from what we were used to, and it definitely put on like the freshman 15, and that was when we had a great metabolism when we were 18 years old, and I still put on some of that weight, and that was when I started actually dieting and not knowing what it was. But just a little bit more about who I am. I am, I guess, a content creator or / influencer. I've been doing this for about 12, 13 years, and I started My Healthy Dish as a way to introduce healthy lifestyle and eating to my followers, and did not know it was going to scale like to this, where we have 12 million followers and subscribers, and everyone's making my recipes in their homes, and it's become like this phenomenon where even little kids stop me on the street to take photos. It's just been a whirlwind. But the Healthy My Way with the cookbook has definitely been something that I've been wanting to share for a long time, because I have pivoted a lot from who I was when I first started My Healthy Dish 13 years ago to now. And we all evolve as a person, as a human being. Mentally, physically, our bodies change, and I just wanted to represent something that who I am now, what my body is at the age of 44, and how gentle I am with it than I was when I was in my 20s and 30s, almost punishing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that as well. Yeah. And I got to see the cookbook and it's amazing. And yeah. I definitely want to dive more into that probably later on in the interview, because it is such a there's so many colors and textures, and it's just very exciting. Like it's a way I think that people can learn to really appreciate food and be excited about cooking. And I think that's something that for my listeners who struggle with restrictive dieting and weight issues and trying to stop binging, it can be something that feels not accessible to love food and to love cooking. Food can seem like something to fear. It can seem like something to worry about all the time. So I love how you bring enjoyment back into cooking. I've watched some of your videos and you just get excited about the ingredients and the result. And it's just great. And I would love it if you could dive more into that as far as like how you learn to love cooking.
Growing up and watching my parents cook for me, I really did not appreciate it until I left home. And not when I say left home, I just was never home after I started college, even though I had a bed at home. I have my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, and I was with him most of the time. So we were dining out a lot, like I said, and definitely missed the home cooking. So out of necessity and the weight gain, I had to start cooking for myself. And I started watching Rachel Ray 30-Minute Meals on Food Network, just to learn the basics, right? Her approach to cooking was really simple. And I started taking nutrition classes during that time as well, just to see. I love the idea of what food could do to change your bodies, right? But I was still very deep into diet culture back then, because during that time I was very influenced by, I don't know if you remember, like Jessica Simpson and her mom jeans wearing a size 8, and everyone considered that fat, and they were fat shaming her. And that's like what we grew up with, our influence during the time. So that was what was drilled in my head for the longest time. And thank goodness we didn't have TikTok and all those things that would have made it 100 times worse back then. So I learned how to cook, but I also was very restrictive because I thought healthy was a size 2. So I was working out religiously, eating 1,200 calories, eating quinoa, and like, not that I hate quinoa, but I was using that as a replacement as rice. And I'm Asian. I love rice. I need to eat rice every single day. I was forcing myself to eat things just because I knew it was healthy food or low calorie, and working out. My gym sessions would be running 3 miles as a warm up and then working out for another hour on training, like weight training. And like, I'm telling you, there's no way I could do that right now in my 40s. No way. And yeah, I was very thin and somewhat muscular and looked great, but did not feel great. I was tired. I was tired all the time. And I was so fixated on food because I was hungry all the time. And when I wasn't hungry, I thought that I overate. Like, I did not have an eating disorder, but I could see how borderline that was now looking back on it. Right? And then I took that mentality thinking, when I graduated and I started My Healthy Dish, after the twins were born. Sorry, I had twins. We'll go back to that later. Yeah. Again, I wanted to lose the weight after the twins were born, and was not happy with my body. I started doing that strict regimen again, and that was where really My Healthy Dish was born. And I started sharing what I was doing, and people were, of course, wanting to do it too. And at the time, I thought that I was helping, right? I was helping people lose weight and eat healthy. And I was definitely cooking better food because I want food to taste good. I want people to know that healthy food can taste good, right? But it was still very restrictive what I was teaching. And as I evolved through time, I just learned more, especially now in my 40s, when I'm feeling the repercussions of that punishment on my body. Like my knees hurt, my elbows hurt from all those years of training. I'm just more gentle. Right? So a few years ago, I just decided that I'm changing my healthy dish. I'm changing what defines my healthy dish, and I'm changing people's minds about healthy food that I even, or healthy living, or that I kind of projected. And slowly but surely, I just started introducing eating and normalizing, even eating a burger and going into In and Out and that being okay, you know. And at first, people were like shocked that I would share, like I was at In and Out Burger. So instead of saying it, I was just living it and just like showing this newer lifestyle, and then showing just real food.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still sometimes you'll see quinoa. Sometimes there's actually quinoa in this book, but it was just real food, lots of vegetables, lean proteins, and that's the food that made me feel good. And I would never say don't eat carbs, but the amount of carbs that we eat is too much, right? It makes me feel sluggish. So instead of eating a cup and a half of rice, I would just eat a cup of rice and then like really fill up on vegetables and proteins that make me full, keep me full, but give me energy throughout the day, so I'm not constantly snacking and craving like a donut because I didn't eat enough carbs or I didn't eat enough. And walking instead of running is like there's this whole shift in my mind. Am I size 2 anymore? No. Am I very comfortable and happy in my body? Yes. Do I feel much better? Do I have more energy? Is that food noise gone where I'm constantly dreaming about food? That's completely gone. And that's where I want everyone to be. It's just, I don't know, healthy, happy body, and then mentally looking at food as an enjoyment and not a restriction.
Well, that's so helpful. All of that is really relatable, I know, to everyone listening. And even if you didn't have a specific eating disorder, a lot of the behaviors are similar. And restriction just isn't good for our biology. It sends us in this kind of survival state where then all we can think about is food because our bodies are starving. And then it also becomes where whatever you restrict, you want more. So, putting foods off limits really a lot of times makes you crave them and overeat them more. So I love the transformation that happened there where you saw like, hey, this just isn't sustainable for my life. This is not how I want to live. And this actually isn't healthy. It's almost punishing for my body. And then learn to really develop such a more caring attitude toward your body and incorporating food in a way that feels self-caring and that feels loving. So I really love how you've made that shift. I want to talk a little bit about the word healthy because there's really not a good definition of it. And that was something I liked in the introduction of your book, and I wrote it down and I'm going to read it. It said, the word healthy is a moving target. It's something that changes as science learns more about how we use nutrients and as my body and its needs change. So I just thought that was really helpful to point out here that we can't even define the term healthy. So it kind of becomes on us to figure out what is healthy for us. And you've really created your own version of what's healthy for you. And I'd like you to dive more into that and just explain how you arrived at this, because I think it's really inspiring and will help a lot of people arrive at their own version of healthy.
Well, I'm on social media and I am very bombarded with criticism every day about how I live. Yeah. You cannot make people happy. And so when I started making this shift where I built an audience on diet culture and then started eating and normalizing eating normal portions and eating the way I'm eating, I will get constant comments that that's not healthy. Why is this page called My Healthy Dish? It was very constant. And my reply would always be, well, define healthy. Well, define healthy because I can't. Can you? What's healthy? Because if you ask a person who's on keto, they think carbs are unhealthy. If you ask a vegan what's healthy, they say animal byproducts and meat is not healthy. Yeah, so it just depends on the person. And so I had to find my own definition of healthy for me that worked for me. And this can change. Like I said, it's a moving target, right? In my 30s, my body needed more. In my 30s, my body needed more calories. My body needed more fuel. And in my 40s, oh gosh, it's almost like I'm a different person. But I also feel like there's these stresses that are causing inflammation, and so I'm very careful of just like all the things that are combined, not just food. And all I can say is that now that I feel 40, I want longevity. Like I want to feel good for the next 40 years, right? And so what makes me feel good inside? Like what makes me feel good when after a meal, or after a full day of eating? And what I find is the fuel that I need is like doubling up on vegetables, because we need those micronutrients for our body. Like, this is crazy, but I love oxtail soup. I don't know if my mom makes it, but one of the reasons why I eat oxtail soup is because of the collagen. Like, I want healthier skin, and so I eat for reasons. Like, there's food choices that I make, and of course I'll have a piece of chocolate and whatever I'm craving. I just don't go overboard. Unless I'm on my period, you might see me have a big slice of cake sometimes, and it's okay, right? I'm listening to my body, and if I have that slice of cake because I love chocolate, it's okay. Like, I'm not punishing myself because I wanted a slice of cake, but I do just eat intuitively, and that's like the most important. What is my body needing right now? What I know that my body is really needing. Especially now that I'm walking every day, and I do some weight training, but very light training. I do want to build muscle, so my body does need proteins, right? There's a reason behind the food choices that I make now. I do want a healthy digestion, so I want all that fiber from the fruits and vegetables, but also the micronutrients for your skin, your hair, your nails. So I'm looking at food as part of a functionality for my body, and not just for aesthetic reasons of a certain size.
Yeah, that's a really great way to frame healthy eating, because it doesn't have to be restrictive, but you also can empower yourself to make choices that fit your lifestyle at different points in your life. And you're so right that our needs change over time, and what worked for you in your 20s doesn't work for you in your 40s or 50s or beyond that. So I love that, because a lot of my listeners are health conscious. And I think there is a misconception in the eating disorder space that you have to just eat anything and everything you want, anytime you want, and not care about nutrition. They can take that a little too far,
Yeah.
And it's great to be able to allow all foods, and to know that no food makes you powerless, to know that you can eat whatever you want in a way that works for you, but you can make empowered, healthy choices for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it really takes looking at what your body needs and what makes you feel good, and just doing that in your life. And I love how you've found that balance for yourself, and then sharing it with others, because it really does come across, like in your videos and stuff, how excited you are about eating this way and how it does make you feel good. And it's not about restriction. I just love how you love all the ingredients and you bring it together to make appealing dishes. Maybe you could dive a little into the cooking part and explain how maybe someone could start to incorporate cooking into their life in a way that's simple and doable and that works for them.
I feel like right now, cooking is a luxury for a lot of people because our lives are so busy. So I want to make it more approachable and easy, especially when I'm developing these recipes. I'm thinking about that couple that just moved in together. They're learning how to cook because they've been going door dashing and dining out all the time, and now that we've always moved into this apartment, now we have rent. Let's just save some money, and now we need to start cooking for ourselves. And I think about the mom at home with kids who need to get dinner on the table right away because she's balancing school drop off and pick up and, all the things that we do as a mom. And I'm also thinking about the mom who's balancing work and home life. And I'm also thinking about the dads and the men who, want to learn how to cook themselves and contribute to the table. And when I think about it, I always think, man, we're all so busy. We are all so busy, and everything still is at our fingertips, but we're so busy. So I think about that, and I also think that like cooking can be so intimidating to people. So I want it to be fun, like an enjoyment. So that does come across in my videos where we make it really fun to cook, and the ingredients are minimal and but flavorful. And when we cook, it shouldn't be more than 30 minutes. Maybe that's something that was ingrained when I started cooking with Rachel Ray, but being physically in the kitchen cooking should not be more than 30 minutes. If you're making a pot roast, yes, I get it. It takes more longer, but I mean, physically throwing everything in a pot, setting and forgetting it, that's what I mean. I want you to have that time back. So a lot of the recipes are quick, easy, full of flavor, and whole foods, like real food, and that's what I want people to understand, that just for me, healthy food is just real food. Mm-hmm. Yes, you want to save that packaged stuff and the dining out. I think that's just more like for entertainment and fun. I always tell my husband and the kids, like, it's okay if you want to have that slice of pizza or have that movie theater popcorn and candy at the movies, because I look at anything outside the home as entertainment. Dining out should be fun, and I would never take away that from my family or myself. It's like going out to brunch with friends. But if they want mimosas, I don't drink. But if you guys want a mimosa on Sunday, what's your brunch? That should be okay. I rarely order a salad when I go out to eat, because I make that at home. I make that at home all the time. I want to eat something that I can't make at home. Something that's more complicated, like an eggs Benedict. You'll never see me making that at home. Like poaching one egg at a time. No. So when I'm cooking and developing these recipes, if I can make it fun and interesting and taste good and in less time, you won't see it on my page. Yeah. Because I'm also cooking for myself and for my family. Those meals are eaten in our house right after. So,
yeah, that's great. I love how you simplify it, streamline it, and just make it real food, right? Mm. People get so caught up in, okay, I shouldn't eat this, I shouldn't eat that. But if we just say, okay, we need to eat more real food, that makes things a lot more doable.
Right now, one of my most popular recipes is a cucumber salad. And I mean, I think cucumbers are definitely trending right now with Logan, if you watched his videos. But an Asian cucumber salad, and I put it in the cookbook because it's so viral. I'm tagged by it all the time. And when I run into my followers, it's one of the things they mention. And even I remember this little girl, she must have been 9 years old. And I was at VidCon last year, and she came up to me with her mom, wanted a picture. Super adorable. But I was like, so do you cook at home? What is it that you make? And she's like, we make your cucumber salad. And I was like, you make it? She's like, yeah, because it's, I like making it spiral like you do. And I was just like so touched by that, because I never thought when I developed these recipes that little kids would be making it too. So I went home, we watched the video, and just to see what it is that kids are gravitating to this video, because I was making it fun for us. And it was just taking the simple Asian cucumber salad, which is so delicious. It has like a little heat. It has a little soy sauce, a little sesame, garlic. I won't give away all the recipes in the book, but it's so delicious. But the way I approached it was spiralizing the cucumber. So I showed a technique on how to slice the cucumber in different angles, and then I would pull it up, and you could just see it like almost like a snake. And that's how we would eat it too. You just eat it with chopsticks or a fork. And I'm like, of course kids love that. Mm-hmm. It's very visual. It's very fun. You're having fun with your food. But we're adults too. and like we kind of miss having fun. Like we want to have fun and it's so serious. So I think adults are making it because the food is delicious, but it's fun. And kids are making it now because it's fun. But I love the fact that I'm introducing a younger audience to cucumbers, but that like something that they would not want to make at home. I would think the first thing they would want to try is like making ramen, because that's what I'm seeing all the kids make on TikTok is that bulldog spicy ramen or like mac and cheese. But for this 9-year-old to try to make this cucumber salad with her mom, or this Asian cucumber salad with her mom, and like enjoy it and know who I am by name was like the most flattering thing. But it was so important to me, and I didn't realize, is that I was influencing a younger audience, and I'm kind of responsible for them now. I'm responsible for these younger kids, and I never want them to feel that food is restrictive.
Yeah.
And so I'm so aware of my younger audience now that I think that's what also keeps me in check, not to go back to diet culture.
Yeah, and it's such a great influence for, like you said, the younger generation, because I can relate to your story about going to college, getting worried about weight, and then going on diets. And we don't want kids to think that's the solution to becoming healthier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you want them to know that the solution is to incorporate real foods, to nourish their bodies well, never to restrict, never to deprive their bodies of food. So I love that you're having that influence on the younger generation. It goes against diet culture, but it also encourages them that it's okay to be healthy. It's good to be healthy. It's good to have fun with healthy foods. I think a lot of the younger generation thinks that fun with food means going out to fast food, but it doesn't have to. It can mean cooking at home. I love that path that you've taken, My Healthy Dish, and I hope that I know you'll keep going and influence a lot of people.
Thank you. And I also, like I said, I have twin daughters that are teenagers. They're 15, almost 16. And it would break my heart if they felt like they needed to go on a diet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I started dieting at such a young age. Yeah. And I would just never want them to feel that way. So I have to be very conscious about my conversations, about food, what I'm eating. And I don't want them to feel like, oh, mommy's on a diet, and when they look at me, there's nothing, like they just see nothing wrong. I don't see there's anything wrong with my body at all. But if I'm on a diet at this size, I don't want them to think there's something wrong with them. So when we eat, I just very aware of our conversations around food. And it's always about, I do lecture my little pig eater a lot, but it's all in like health. Like she doesn't drink water. Like this girl will go all day and come home with her flask cup like still full, and it's like, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like your body is made of water. You need to hydrate. Your liver needs to flush out. Like so I lecture her about like just drinking enough water, and when she loves like chicken nuggets and French fries, and I do give it to her, but I also make sure that like, hey, eat your carrots, eat your celery, eat your this, and we don't eat it all the time. And if I do make French fries, I make homemade French fries and I bake it. So like I'm never restrictive. I still allow her to eat the foods that she eats because the list of foods that she eats is very minimal. Whenever she comes home, she sees something on TikTok that she likes. Last year, she asked for creamy tomato soup. I was ecstatic. I was so happy. I mean, I was so happy that because she saw it on TikTok and she wanted to try creamy tomato soup. I filmed the whole thing, had her try it, talked about her picky eating, and it was like a texture thing, so I blended it to make it really smooth, and paired it with something that I knew that she would like, which is grilled cheese with mozzarella. So I knew like if she could dip it in there and eat it with something she was familiar with, and now she loves tomato soup. It was such a small win for me, but like I would never like, well, you need to eat it because it's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to eat it because of this, because of this. I always just like, okay, well, if that's what you want, I would just have to find ways to make it better.
Yeah, I love your perspective as a parent too. And I'm sure that adds a lot to My Healthy Dish because there's a whole different struggle, right? As a parent raising kids. And it's kind of comforting, at least for me, to know that you have a picky eater as well, because I'm not a cook. I'm a terrible cook and my kids are very, very picky. But
Oh.
yeah, that even if you can have a picky eater, it's a struggle.
Struggle is very real. It's not your fault. Anyone listening, it's not your fault. I have twins, right? Completely different eating habits.
Mm-hmm.
Raise them the same. This could be a great case study. Raise them exactly the same. Nurse them, when they were young. Fed them everything the same. And then around 2 years old, Shayna switched, like, the little switch on me and decided that she did not want to eat all the foods that I was making her originally. And then she became fixated on chicken nuggets, fries, and rice and noodles. And she would not deviate from that for the longest time. And every time I would introduce something and she would actually try it and like it, it would go on the list of the things that she would eat. Like, oh, she likes pineapple. Oh, we'll make sure we have pineapple in the house. Celery. Oh my God, finally a vegetable. Carrots, yay. Even though she dips it in ranch, hey, she's eating carrots, I'm taking all those wins.
That's great. And to finish today, I want you to share more about your cookbook because it is available now and it's such an amazing resource. And I just want everyone to know more about it.
Oh gosh, this book has been this labor of love. I just want to show it to you again. It's called Healthy My Way. And like I said, I'm an immigrant a refugee from Vietnam. So a lot of the recipes in here, even the cover, is my chicken pho. And a lot of the recipes are very Asian influenced because I'm Vietnamese, but I grew up in California. So there's a lot of California notes in there. And I even threw in the creamy tomato soup for my daughter. There's a lot of me in this book that represents really who I am. And we fought against this creamy tomato soup because it did not fit. So it doesn't fit with the Asian California vibe. Like, you don't understand. This recipe is very special to me. So it's making the book. The Asian cucumber salad is making the book because it's one of my most viral recipes that at least little kids love that I'm making with their parents. But yes, the book is it says real food, real flavor, real good. And I really mean it with every single recipe. It's real food that has a lot of flavor, that tastes good. And we tested all of them. I have so many favorite ones. I can't remember, but it comes down to the core of what I am right now is my lifestyle. And I want people to see this as a gift to themselves and to their bodies to start nourishing ourselves with real food and enjoy it. Food is meant to be enjoyed. There's one of many luxuries in our life, and food is meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And you're actually the first cookbook creator that I've had on the show. And I was so happy to have you on just based on your story. Where can people find you on social media?
Well, I'm all over. So if you like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube, pick one of them and find My Healthy Dish.
Well, thank you so much, Maya, for being here and sharing your story and your new cookbook. And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You can find a link to Maya's new cookbook, Healthy My Way, in the show description, and links to find her on social media and YouTube as well. If you need more support in ending binge eating, you can also find all of the Brain Over Binge resources in the show description, including my books, online course, group coaching, and one-on-one coaching, as well as my free inspiration booklet, which contains 30 days of daily messages to keep you motivated and focused on recovery. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show today. I hope this episode has encouraged you to create your own version of healthy eating and to view healthy eating as something that can be pleasurable and enjoyable and not restrictive. I hope to see you again next time, and until then, I want to encourage you and remind you that you have the power to change your brain and live a binge-free life. The Brain Over Binge podcast is produced and recorded by Brain Over Binge Recovery Coaching, LLC. All work is copyrighted by Brain Over Binge Recovery Coaching, LLC, and all rights are reserved. As a disclaimer, the hosts of the Brain Over Binge podcast are not professional counselors or licensed healthcare providers, and this podcast is not a substitute for medical advice or any form of professional therapy. Eating disorders can have serious health consequences, and you are strongly advised to seek medical attention for matters relating to your health. Please get help when you need it, and good luck on your journey. Need more help? You can find all of our current and upcoming options for support at brainoverbinge.com.